Hello, my name is Juan Cabrera and this is my presentation on the program evaluation proposal. So the program I picked is the Positive Action Program. The Positive Action Program is a program administered by Behavioral Health Solutions of South Texas. It offers a curriculum taught at middle and high schools across the Rio Grande Valley. The curriculum is intended to improve social, behavioral, and emotional health among participating students. The program teaches a variety of different life skills and coping mechanisms. A program specialist will go into the school and teach the curriculum in hopes of bolstering the negative behaviors that a lot of the students may have. The students are usually recommended to the program by a school counselor who has experience with the students and who understands that these students that they're recommending usually have behavioral issues. The literature review I conducted, there has already been a great deal of studies looking into positive action and its benefits. The results from these studies have been generally positive, but there have been some that do not show improvement of the target behaviors. For example, Patel et al. 2018 showed that there was mixed results in their study that they conducted on summer schools in Georgia. They found mixed results, and in general, they found that some negative behaviors actually increased, like bullying and violent behavior, after the students have received services from the Positive Action Program. Another study that found more positive results and was a lot more comprehensive. There was over 1,500 students used in this study by Beats et al. 2009 in Hawaii. This was a large study and it showed a decrease in self-reported violence and substance use after the students had completed the program, the Positive Action Program, that is. The objectives. So the objectives for this particular program evaluation, the main research question is whether or not the participation in Positive Action Program reduces behavior issues among the students who complete the curriculum. And this could be encompassed by things like misbehavior in school, academics, substance use. All of these things are targeted by the Positive Action Program. So a reduction in this is one of the things we want to find out whether the Positive Action Program causes. The primary objective of the program evaluation is to measure the impact of program curriculums on negative behavioral issues experienced by youth in participating schools. So the methodology. Participants in the study will be selected by school counselors based on previous misbehaviors. I know that I mentioned earlier that students are usually recommended by school counselors to the program. The students don't. Usually they'll be required to attend the classes because they have some sort of misbehavior that needs to be addressed, and one of the recourses that the counselor uses to attend the program. The students will be then asked to come forward by the school counselors to the program, and they will attend over a series of weeks, probably an entire semester, 12 weeks. There will be 90 students who will take part in the program, 90 participants. And what's going to happen is 90 students will take the child behavior checklist assessment before and after receiving services from the program. This instrument is filled by parents and measures a wide range of misbehaviors. So the parents fill out this form. It's a 4-page form that the parents fill out in regard to child misbehaviors. It basically asks them, what sort of behaviors does your child have? And it covers all sorts of things from mental health problems to substance use to all really a variety of things. It's a 113 item instrument that has been tested before for validity and reliability. It's very accurate, and it has also been used in thousands of studies with children before. The ages are, I believe, 6 to 18. So the students will be taking part of this evaluation. They're in middle school, so they're probably ranging from 11 to 13 years old. So they fall in to the required age range. So the 90 students that take part in the program will be divided into 3 classes of 30. They'll receive the program. Initially, they will fill out the child behavior checklist. Their parents will fill it out at the beginning of the program before they receive the services, and then they will fill it out again at the end of the program after they have received the services. Additionally, 30 parents and their participating student will be interviewed after the program completion to gauge how the program impacted them. So basically kind of get an idea of what it is and how it helped them, the program, the Positive Action Program, after they went through it. How did it help them? What did the parents see in their child? How long did it take for them to see a change in behaviors? Data from the initial and post quantitative exams will be compared using t-test. So the child behavior checklist gives you a score. So there's going to be two sets of scores: the initial one before they receive services from positive action, and the post one after they have received services. Those will be compared to see if there's any statistically significant difference between the two and see if there was any sort of improvement. A lower score means that there is less negative behaviors. A higher score means that there is more negative behaviors. Additionally, the interviews with the parents and the participating students will also be transcribed and reviewed for themes and responses to kind of get an idea of what is the general reaction that the students and the parents had towards the program in general. Data. An independent sample t-test was used to analyze the assessment score pre and post intervention. The confidence level used was 95%. The mean assessment score for pre-intervention group was 111.2111. The mean assessment score for post-integration intervention group was 84.30. The test showed that there was a statistically significant change between pre and post intervention. The results mean that on average behavior issues among youth were reduced after the program intervention. So this is in general. Of course, the tool measures a bunch of things in a bunch of different scales. It has 4 built-in scales inside of it. But in general, overall, the students who participated in the program, based on the dummy data that I used, showed lower scores after having received program services. And this lower score, this change was actually statistically significant, to the point where I believe the p-value was less than 0.001. So very highly statistically significant. So what are some of the strengths and limitations to go over? Because of the type of program that it is, a positive action, it's run by a nonprofit, Behavioral Health Solutions of South Texas, where I'm interning. Their funds to conduct a program evaluation are limited, as with a lot of nonprofits. Money just doesn't come from nowhere. So one of the reasons why I chose the non-probability is because it's probably more likely that an institution like the one that I'm interning they're more likely to conduct a program evaluation if they know that it's not going to be an expensive task to complete. Of course, that is a pro in that it's more affordable using non-probability sampling, but it's also a drawback because using non-probability sampling means that the results that we find will not be reproducible, and that the results that we find won't necessarily be representative of the larger population from which the sample was drawn. We can also not eliminate certain biases like we could if there was there's an experimental group and there's a control group. We didn't use a control group in this study. So because of that, we can eliminate certain biases. I would say a strength, on the other hand, is the use of t-test. There was data analysis used to figure out whether there was a significant change. I believe that's a good strength for the study. And another strength is the fact that it involved mixed methods designs. With the mixed methods designs, sometimes if you just use quantitative, the data is very bland. It's just a yes or, it's a very quantitative, for lack of a better term, results is just numbers. So by including something like a qualitative, in this case, we use both. We use the quantitative with the child behavior acting as the quantitative, and then the interviews acting as a qualitative method. When you do this, I feel like it broadens, and Royce et al. Would probably agree, it broadens the results that we get. It deepens them. We can get a better picture of what it is that people actually feel beyond the questions that were asked on the child behavior checklist. There's more in-depth discovery when you talk to parents and you talk to students about how they felt about the program and its services. I think you get a better idea of where this data is coming from, and you might be able to discover things that you wouldn't if you had just used quantitative on its own, and you wouldn't discover if you just use qualitative on its own. I think when you use mixed methods design, you can adapt to and use the benefits of each of the methods, and have those, benefit one another. One last thing to mention is the implications that would come from this study. So if the results were negative, if there wasn't a noticeable change between pre and post intervention in regards to behavior issues, that would mean that perhaps the program is not useful, or there can be a program that is more useful. So one of the implications in this regard for practice and for policy is that perhaps policy needs to change, or perhaps practice needs to change to include programs that are more useful than this program. Of course, if the program does turn out to be useful, which in this case the dummy data that I used said that it was useful, then the implication there is that this program can be perhaps more widely distributed because of the positive effects that it's been found to have. Research implications. While it's a non-probability study, the results aren't reproducible, but I think that researchers who come into contact with a study like this can take from it certain benefits and see how they can use it in future studies, because of course on the scale that the program is conducted, there still needs to be more studies done because of the mixed results that have been found in the past, and still needs to be more studies done in regards to research so that we can get a better idea of how impactful and how useful this program is to reducing behavioral issues amongst youths.